Man, you can sure tell it's almost session. Gray clouds and rain and unbelievable. Wow. Nice new wall, Governor. This thing is huge. Unbelievable. So much change on the Capitol. But you know, some things just never change, remain the same. Let's go talk about 2026 session. Boy, it feels good to come in out of the rain. A lot nicer in here today. The old desk. Good to see it again. But hey, Happy New Year, 2nd District. State Representative Andrew Barkis here with a pre-2026 session Barkis Breakdown. You know, I was just outside looking around at the Capitol, and there's a lot of change that we can see in the buildings and all sorts of stuff going on. But I'll tell you something that hasn't changed and remains the same. And that is, we're coming into this 2026 session and we're going to face, again, more proposals to raise your taxes. That's right, raise your taxes. You know, in 2025, the battles that were here on the floor of the House took place all around the highest tax increase that we've seen in Washington state history, over $9 billion in new taxes, not including what we did in transportation with the gas tax and all the fees, about $4 billion in new fees and taxes. But they're not done. The Democrats and the majority, once again, their only solution they have to solve this problem is to raise your taxes. And now they're pulling the Holy Grail. They're talking about an income tax. An income tax for the state of Washington. Mind you, the Constitution has a little bit of something to say about that, but doesn't matter. I guarantee you we're going to debate it here on the floor of the House. But that's their job to bring that forward, and my job and my colleagues here in the Republican caucus are to fight for you and to stop this reckless spending, to stop these taxes that are just coming at us, the costs that's so high. You know, I spent the good majority of the summer and the fall traveling around the state of Washington, all over into communities, and I heard over and over and over again, it's too expensive here in Washington state. From your gas to your groceries, everything, it's too expensive. We can do better. You know, my colleague, Travis Couture, Rep. Couture, put out a proposal that the Republicans have on a different type of a budget. And guess what? It doesn't include raising your taxes. It talks about reducing the spending, putting control and accountability that needs to be here. Speaking of that, in the transportation realm, as a ranking member on transportation, I have been proposing for years to work with the Climate Commitment Act revenue, that tax that we're paying, to use those monies towards maintenance and preservation and other things that are critical to our state's transportation infrastructure. Well, all of a sudden, Governor Ferguson woke up and realized that the state of Washington's transportation infrastructure is falling apart. In his proposal this year, he's now talking about spending billions on maintenance and preservation, something we've already been talking about, actually something we've already done and I've already worked on in the budgets that I've written over the last several years. The problem is we've neglected it for over 30 years. 30 years of the same control, 30 years of the same priorities, 30 years that we've been arguing against. Maybe we shouldn't build bike paths, maybe we should paint bridges. And nothing is more glaring example than the Fairfax Bridge on Highway 165, just outside the town of Wilkeson and Carbonado. You know, I've spent a lot of time, I just dropped a bill, House Bill 2149, to do exactly that, to declare it an emergency and to use Climate Commitment Act funds to replace that piece of critical infrastructure. Can't ignore how important that is to that rural community. But it's just one bridge of hundreds of bridges throughout our state that need attention now. The proposal the governor has, it's good, I'm glad he's talking about it, but it's the wrong way to pay for it, and that's to put more burden on the people of the state of Washington by putting us in further debt by bonding. Let's use the Climate Commitment Act money, let's use the $1 billion that we have available to us to do that. He's proposing to use it differently, just to balance his operating budget that's all messed up. On the housing front, a lot of policy coming through, but the most important thing that I'll be working on is eviction reform. We saw rent control last year. We're seeing the impact of that policy and a lot of other policies that are yet to be implemented. I've been saying a lot. We don't need new policy. We need better solutions. We need reforms that are needed, and that's the eviction reform. We will be working on permitting and streamlining and things to get at the affordable housing crisis that we have. And again, we can do it better than just pumping more and more dollars and your tax dollars into a solution that has failed for 30 years. So look, 2026 session, it's a short session, 60 days. It's not going to be easy. We're going to be here on the floor of the House fighting for you, the people of the 2nd District and the state of Washington every single day. It starts on January 12th, and I tell you, we're gearing up for it. already good policy being put forth, better ideas, better solutions. We just need you. We need your voice. We need you to participate. So pay attention. Reach out to my office. You can email me. You can come on down and see me and set up an appointment. We're going to be doing these updates quite a bit. Check out our Facebook and Instagram page, our YouTube page. You'll be updated on a regular basis on the fight that we are doing here for you, the people of Washington State. So, I wish you all a very happy new year and the very best in 2026. And even amongst all this little bit of gloom and doom, still a great place to live, Washington State, and it's worth fighting for every single day, and that's what I'm going to do. Thanks for watching another Barkis Breakdown, and as I always say, it's an honor and privilege to serve you, the people of the 2nd District. We'll see you again soon.